WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day to our listening audience around the world, including our great state of North Carolina, particularly Greenville and Winterville, North Carolina, Ayden, Grifton, so on and so forth. You are tuned into Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, The Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have a part two of a topic of discussion on travel. But before we get to that, we would like to bring to your attention a recall alert on lettuce. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams, all happening now here on the Glenn Johnson Show.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are so glad that you tuned in. We have a good show on today. I love it when we do a part two because it means that we had so much information or it got so interesting, the topic got so juicy until we couldn't finish it all on one day. And so here we are doing a part two on travel. I think it's very appropriate for this time of year. There's a lot of people that are traveling or they use the summertime to go on vacations.
That's right.
Or they go places. We have some documents about traveling abroad. And I think I know these tips are very good information for you and some of the stuff it's common sense, you may know it, but it's always good to brush up on things and look at things again.
Yeah, and the one that I like the most, I think it's on international travel. There's one document in there. I think on page 2 it says, know before you go. That's right, know what's there before you get there.
That's right. And, wherever you go, you do need to look out for safety. In spite of what we think, there are some people that target, travel areas because that's where people have the money. People that are traveling, no one travels and doesn't have anything.
That's right, they know your pockets are full.
You had to at least have some gas money to get there or something. Or you traveled there by plane or you traveled there by bus or, some kind of way you got there and you had to have some money.
That's right. Sometimes in some places, people see you, they know that you're a visitor or a traveler, and that gives them the notion that they can get something from you.
Definitely. But, I make sure I go looking. Dr. Glenn, I'm just kidding. I try to look ordinary. I'm trying to look rich.
That's why I would never travel to any destination where I don't speak the language or understand the language.
Well, I've been many places, Dr. Glenn, where I did not understand the language, but I know one thing about it, and this is a Christian radio station, so I know it's free for me to say this here. Jesus is in every nation.
That's right, I know that.
Every nation and tongue, Jesus is on every nation. There's somebody somewhere that knows Jesus.
And as a matter of fact, I haven't been on an aircraft since 1979. When I was in the military, came home on leave for Christmas, and the plane that I was on was a brand new DC-10 wide body. When my plane landed in Newark International Airport from Columbus, Georgia, the plane crashed, and every DC-10 wide body after that was crashing. And I have not been on a plane since.
Oh, I've been on plenty, and not every plane is crashing. We're not seeing planes right now frequently crashing, or we haven't seen them in the U.S. crashing lately. So pray up and get on the plane and go.
Well, that was just my experience. So I
Yeah.
figured I'd share that.
Well, sometimes it's better to drive, especially if you have 3 or more people. Sometimes the cost of one plane ticket could be the cost of driving.
Yeah.
So, and I particularly like to drive. I particularly like the open road. I love to get my music going and get up early in the morning and drive 15 hours until the night.
Well, it's like probably coming up in maybe October. I'll be taking my grandchildren to Maryland to do a visit to Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Museum.
So there's a museum, the Underground Railroad Museum, or are we talking about the African American?
No, I'm talking about the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Museum in Maryland.
Wow.
But also, probably on the way back, we'll stop at the African American Museum in Washington.
In Washington. Now, I want to see the Bible Museum. And we plan to go at this one particular time when I was down in Maryland, because it's there. I think it's in Virginia, but it's on the way. And we planned to go, Dr. Glenn, and as soon as we got ready to go, they had it shut down. They only let the members come at that time.
Now, I'm not joking about this. It's going to sound like a joke. The reason why I want to go to the African American Museum, I want to go there to see if they have the person documented there who created the Jerry curl juice. Because people like Martin Luther King, things like that, they didn't think about no Jerry curl, S curl, and all that. The hair was just natural.
Yeah, it was natural, and then they didn't have it back in those times.
Yeah, I know.
So the Underground Railroad had no Jerry curl juice, nothing like that. They didn't do. They may have had the straightening comb, not in the Underground Railroad. People just didn't care. Things and catering to beauty and those type of things weren't as important back then. You looked how you looked, and that was it. You got what was presented, and if you wasn't considered pretty, that was it. If you was, now everything. You could buy yourself a new bottom if you want to. Let it be flat, and you could buy yourself a new behind.
Yeah, but on that note, I want to ask you this question. Do these still make slips? Some young girls don't even know what a slip is.
Well, they still make slips. I wear slips. I wear them all the time. I'm not
Really?
going out on Sunday without a slip.
That's what I figured. That's
Well,
what I
yeah,
wanted
they
to know.
still make. I wear them. There's a lot of ladies that still wear slips, and they're making comebacks. One of my daughters, when she was younger and she was going to church, she just shunned me and thought that I was just something different for wearing a slip. Now I can't be her wearing one. She wearing her slips.
She won't leave home without one, right?
Well, see, women had class about themselves back in time. They didn't just go out wearing anything. I'm telling you, I just came back from vacation and I looked, I'm being honest with you. I didn't say these things out, but I did say to myself, how far we have fallen. I'm just talking about my race as black women. It's like all the walls are down.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it used to be that if you were extremely overweight and you had that big stomach or, the stomach hanging down to your knees, you didn't put on bikini. You didn't go out with all your body out like that.
You wore a girdle.
Yeah, you wore a girdle under your clothes. You had clothes on. Now, it's like anything goes. I don't know who's pregnant or not because some of the stomachs are out of shape and they're just out there. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying that it used to be that you stayed covered up, and it doesn't matter. I'm just say this. It doesn't matter to me if you are toothpick skinny.
Yeah,
I don't want that person, anybody coming through where I'm eating wearing a bikini.
and if your belly is big, not only women, but men that drink a lot of beer and things of that nature, that have those big pop bellies.
Oh, we saw some of those too.
That's a sign of malnutrition. If you see the people that you used to see on TV in Africa suffering from malnutrition and their stomach was bloated, that's malnutrition. And therefore, even here in the United States, whether it's male or female, with a big pot belly, that is a form of malnutrition.
Yes, but like I said, it wasn't just women; it was men too.
Oh, yeah.
I saw some bellies swinging around there that looked and that needed to be covered up too. But I especially have an issue with where I'm dining, and a bikini is coming through. It doesn't matter to me who's wearing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that while I'm eating. I'm trying to eat. I don't want to look upon it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 40 seconds before we go to the break. When we get back, we're definitely going to do this part on the recall for lettuce because I'm concerned about where some of the locations. One of them was Clune, North Carolina. But Apostle will explain that when we get back from the break. Apostle will take us out to the break.
Hey, come on back with us. We're getting ready to go out on this break. We got some good travel tips. And listen, I just came back from vacation. I have some interesting, juicy things to say. And I know these tips are real, and I know that it feels real. And I know I look like I just breezed in from an island. Come back, and we want you to hang in there till after this break. This is Awesome Radio, Glenn Johnson Show. Back in a moment.
Do you have documents that need to be notarized? We provide notary services by appointment. 252-756-3137. Coming to Greenville. God Has Something to Say Revival from Monday, August 3rd through Friday, August 7th, 7:30 each night. Hosted by Apostle Mary Mahone, along with Truth and Life Deliverance Ministry, located at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. Guest speaker, Prophet Benny Dixon, along with Pillars of Faith Prophetic Ministries of Kinston. So mark your calendars for Monday, August 3rd to Friday, August 7th, 7:30 p.m. nightly at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. God Has Something to Say Revival.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Awesome Radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. As we were going out to the break, Apostle was explaining that she had just came back from vacation. And for all those listeners and people that's watching our live Facebook or YouTube, take a look. Does she look like she just came back from an exotic island? She got pink hoop earrings in her ear with a multicolored pink dress on, and those pink hoop earrings. I'm just looking at that.
Wait, Dr. Glenn, I got on pink sneakers too.
Oh my goodness. Yep, she sure does.
I got on pink high top sneakers. Hey, you need to look like where you came from.
Oh my God, she got on Chuck Taylors.
High top pink ones. So listen, I am so glad, and so these tips are really personal to me. But let's look right now, and I spoke to Dr. Glenn about this. There's an outbreak with iceberg lettuce. Now, before we went on vacation, we were having some stomach issues.
Really?
And I said to, my spouse, I said, I believe that this stomach issue is coming from the fruit. So I suspected that it was the fruit because we both, I was making us smoothies in the morning and putting the fresh fruit in there, or juicing, making us a juice blend with the fresh fruit. And until we started eating the fruit, then that's when our stomach started hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like it was that because it was happening before we left. But now we see that they have identified, and we did have things with lettuce. We had things. I didn't put any lettuce in the juice, but we had burgers and things at some time that had lettuce on it. And from certain restaurants they have the lettuce tomato, and it doesn't taste good without it. So
And where did you go again? Mexico?
I went to Mexico, yeah, Tampa, Florida, and Mexico. And so I'm right down there where they have tracked this particular parasite to Mexico
Did you say Tampa, Florida?
and Tampa, Florida.
Because I'm looking at the document. It says stores affected: Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia. I'm not sure what that is. Illinois, Indiana, Kansas City, or Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, North Carolina, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia, and Wisconsin. So it was in Texas.
Yeah, so these are places that, that was sold the lettuce that they know has the parasite. But I remember, Dr. Glenn, while I was sitting in Mexico, we went to a Mexican restaurant there in Mexico, and usually I don't eat. I will not eat anything out of the country, off the boat, the water, drink nothing. I mean, really, because I'm just so afraid that you could get a hold of something because the standards are different. But my grandchild wanted to go, and my husband. So we're sitting at a restaurant, and I remember sitting there looking at them, and both of them had lettuce
And
on their plate.
And I was going to say their standards are different. And another factor is I know they don't have the same technology and things that we have here in the United States that they test and measure things with.
That's right. And so that I'm afraid of. But because, some of these places that you travel to, they do cater to Americans. So they do know, the standards or what is expected, that they may in their country may be lax with, but they know that we as Americans, what we expect as far as food safety. So, but I remember sitting, and one was on the left and one was on the right. And I looked to the left and I looked to the right, and both of them were eating lettuce. Well, later, one of them was very sick from the lettuce.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the lettuce or just the food, period. But one of them, but it says here, and we're talking about this safety alert for the lettuce. It says public health officials in several states are investigating a multi-state outbreak of cyclospora infection linked to shredded iceberg lettuce in 5 states. So I'm just saying, what says that it's just lettuce? You see what I'm saying? Are there other
right.
things? Can you say that lettuce is only on the truck that had that parasite on it, or could it be other vegetables?
And possibly that lettuce, wherever it was, could have been the cause of other produce on that truck getting contaminated.
That's right. So that's what I said. It said, do not eat the recalled iceberg lettuce from Taylor Farms, de Mexico, that might be sold in retail stores or served in restaurants. So the thing is that you don't know what they're selling in restaurants. I mean, even while I was on vacation, there was a nice salad bar down there. And I mean, I was looking at it and I was praying over the salad while I was eating it, because I did eat it.
Because didn't you say one of the places was something in Mexico?
Yeah, in Mexico. Yeah, that lettuce originated from Mexico. It came from Mexico.
See?
And I was in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
So it says it's multiple lots, different package styles. So you're going to have to actually look at the lettuce in the package and see if it came from the Taylor Farm.
Yeah, particularly if it's multiple lots, because a lot and a lot number gives them a specific location where it was handled and packaged.
Now, it said if you find out that you have it, you need to wash the areas with dishwater, or, just clean the areas and pitch that lettuce out.
That's right.
If you see that you don't consume it, it said do not eat it. Contact your healthcare provider if you have any symptoms. Now, it said primary symptoms of this parasite include watery diarrhea, fatigue, and loss of appetite.
Does it mention anything about taking the item back to your place of purchase with a receipt and get a refund.
I didn't see this as an option on this particular document, but it did say here that the symptoms start a week after you've consumed it. So you
week
might
after.
think it's something else.
Yeah.
And it's a week later when the symptoms come. And it said you may need to specifically request tests for your stool. And it says routine tests don't always screen for this parasite. So you're going to have to think that you specifically have this parasite in order for them to screen for it. So you may have all the symptoms and everything. It said without treatment, symptoms can last anywhere from a few days to a month or longer.
Yeah.
Stay well hydrated. If you are sick, local and state health officials may contact you to find out what you ate in 2 weeks before you got sick.
And ladies and gentlemen, on this document, I'm looking at a map provided by CDC. You know, CDC is Center for Disease Control. And on this map, it has some number of sick people, and the one that has a blue dot, it said 400 to 500. There's also one that has a blue dot, 1,100 to 1,200.
Well, it says wash your hands and any fresh produce thoroughly under running water before eating, cutting, or cooking. And then it said cooking can kill the parasite, but who cooks lettuce?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know really. Do you know of a dish that you cook the lettuce in?
Well,
Lettuce is usually eaten raw.
I was watching a TV show that I watched, quite normal. That's Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmares. As he was inspecting the kitchen, had a meal, he found out that that particular restaurant, the chef fried lettuce.
Yeah. I'm just saying at home, anything that I eat lettuce in is usually raw.
Yeah.
So it says you can experience the symptoms as soon as 2 days or 2 weeks or more after consuming food or drinking water containing. So this is what I believe, that they don't know. Oh, we're getting ready to go out on another break. We're going to have you to come back right after this break. Hang in there, because I have a few more things to say and some symptoms of this particular parasite that we're talking about on today. And we want you to hear and get all of this information. This is some good stuff you need to know, especially what I'm getting ready to say when we come back. Hey, this is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And you are listening to us right here on Awesome Radio Network, 1570 AM and 107.5 FM. Right here. Keep it locked. Don't turn it off. We're going to see you right back in a moment. Hang in there. We'll see you in a moment.
Hello, this is C. Say Brown. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Radio Network.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome.
Coming right back.
Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was very, very brief. So we're going to continue with Apostle Jacqueline Cullins. She's going to have some more explanations on this contaminated lettuce. Then we'll definitely move into the travel safety tips.
So we, one of the other things is loss of appetite. And then it said cramping. And I know when we got sick, that's exactly what we felt like, cramp down low in your side, just like a heavy cramp.
And that is bad.
Yeah, just all of a sudden pain. It said bloating, increased gas, because that's what we thought it was, but it was painful. And nausea, fatigue, also loss of appetite, weight loss.
Yeah.
So you just, these symptoms can get so bad until you're losing weight and all type of things with it. So, and also that diarrhea, watery diarrhea, that's a big sign of it. If you feel, the way they're talking about this particular parasite washing all the vegetables and things, I believe that they know that it's more than just the lettuce, that it's a possibility.
And as far as the symptoms, all that they didn't mention it, but based on what they have mentioned so far, I'm sure you would definitely have a fever.
Well, it doesn't give a fever, but your stomach will be torn up.
Yeah.
It's more stomach symptoms. It didn't talk about the fever, but it also said there's been no deaths concerning it. Now, there's been quite a few people that have gotten sick, but there's no deaths.
Yeah, we're talking about 1,200 people.
Yes, that's a lot of people. And I believe it's more than that because, like I said,
Yeah, because he can't measure
we
everybody.
were sick from something, and I said it was the fruit.
Yeah.
I immediately said, I pinpointed it's either the bottled water that we were drinking or the fruit because everything else was cooked.
Yeah, like you said, it could be more than that because I agree with that because I don't think they have a way to get ex- particular information from everybody.
And if that lettuce is like open lettuce, like a head of lettuce, and it's in the store, it's just sitting up there. A lot of times they're spraying water on everything. So you think a parasite is going to be still just right there on the lettuce when the water's being sprayed over everything? And you just never know. I don't believe that it was just the lettuce.
And by the way, speaking of this water being sprayed on everything, I think some of your supermarkets where the produce section, they used to have them sprayers shooting that water over the produce and all that stuff, even fruit. I think a lot of places stopped doing that because of that, what you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, but there's still some that do it. I go in there, pick it up, and the fruit is wet because they've sprayed it with that water and spraying it over it. So let's look at some vacation travel tips. We're moving on here, and one of the things that it says that you need to have an enjoyable and memorable time away, but certain safety precautions should be given priority equal to that of flight arrangements and local and hotel locations. So I was going to say that is one of the important things is to make sure that if you stay at a hotel that you have checked out the surroundings. And a lot of times it's very hard to do so. It's hard to check out what neighborhood that hotel is in. If you ask the people there that work there, they're always going to give it a good rating. Oh, this is good, it's safe here. And then you pull up and you looking like, what in the world are we? We're in the heart of what looks like crime central, and you're scared to stay in the hotel.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be in a place where there's tourists, where it's a lot more people that are vacationing and using the hotels for vacation.
And speaking of hotels, because I do go to the Jersey Shore in Philadelphia, I stay in hotels. But what I want to mention is I take my own independent portable air cleaner. I forget the name of the one that I have, but it replaces all the air with pure oxygen. So it takes all the dust mites, particles that might be harmful for you out of the air and replace it with pure oxygen.
Yes, and make sure they're cleaning the hotel. One of my friends years ago, she told me this, and I never forgot it. She went to a hotel, and she got in bed, you know, pulled the covers up, put her feet, and she felt something down there under the covers. So she pulled the covers back, and there was a man's underwear under the covers. That meant they hadn't changed that bed. That was dirty sheets and things. They just pulled it up because it looked clean, and the person's underwear were under the sheets.
Yeah. And all his body fluids that was on his body was on the sheets and everything also.
Yeah, it's nasty. So make sure they're changing things. You know, make sure that you see if you're going more than one day, you know whether they change yours or not.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you see them coming out with a cart and they're cleaning things, and then still bring your own cleaning products. You can bring some disinfectant wipes and use them in general areas.
Definitely the disinfectant wipes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 minutes to go before we go to the next break. Then we'll have 20-minute more talk time. But if you would like to call in with a question or comment, please do so by calling 252-756-2008. Please call in after this break, which will be in about 4 minutes. Apostle?
Yes, you're definitely welcome to call in, questions, comments, and we know that a lot of you have been on vacation or you're planning. There are people that I know that have planned after me to go, and I know they're still ready and getting ready to go. So you can call in and tell us if you've had an experience, you know, with vacationing that you'd like to share. You're definitely welcome to call right in. So one of the things it says, don't go anywhere with a stranger, even during the day. You know, somebody that's planning on trying to help you or whatever, if you get lost, kind of look for somebody in an official uniform. Look for police, look for security guards, look for those type of things, and that's better than having someone you don't know try to lead you and guide you.
And I think that's very important that you mentioned, look for somebody that's in an official uniform, some kind of official attire.
Carry a cell phone at all times in case of an emergency. Do not go without your cell phone.
And speaking of cell phones, make sure you know that particular location's emergency number. Here in the United States, of course, it's 911. Some other places it might be 111, 333, so on and so forth. So make sure you know their emergency number.
It said call home periodically at times to let your family members know that you are safe. Keep your identification with you. Always never go out without your identification, because you don't know what can happen, especially if you're on or in a foreign country. You don't know what can happen. You may end up at a hospital or something, and you have no way to prove who you are. You know, people need to know you need to stay safe, and you need to keep your things with you. Beware of local laws regarding alcohol. Is it safe to drink alcohol? And then not only that, but bringing alcohol back from, like, you know, you're going to a foreign country. You know, sometimes you have to pay something extra for that alcohol, and then sometimes there's a limit to what you can bring back.
That's
or
right.
even the kind that you can bring back.
Even food, plants, flowers, everything.
Yes.
You know, there's a certain places you have to have that stuff. I forgot the term they use, but it has to go through customs.
Yes.
Customs.
Or a lot of times, you know, like particularly on my particular vacation, I heard them say,
In some places it's called declared. It has been
yes,
declared.
it has to be declared. But I heard them say, if you have any plant or anything from this place, throw it away.
That's
Don't
right.
bring it. They don't want you to bring, you know, certain things, because they don't know, again, just like the parasite or some other type of thing that could be in that plant, and you brought it back to the United States and it's not supposed to be here. A lot of things have happened, and maybe we need to do a show on that with people that have brought things that are not indigenous to the United States and let it loose in the United States, and now it's a problem.
I know some people who have traveled to a foreign country and tried to bring back clothing items or footwear, but they couldn't get it through customs because it was illegal to do so. What customs had to do was confiscate it. They tore it all up, put holes in it, ripped it up so they couldn't use it. And they couldn't reclaim it because now it's all cut up.
Wow, we might need to look at that and look at some of the things. Hey, we're going out on one more break. If you will come back and be right back on with us, we have some more interesting things that we know you'd like to hear. This is Glenn Johnson, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. You're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio, and we're giving you some great travel tips and travel cues. And we were just suggesting, I love how a topic can pop up and pop off of a topic. We're going to do a show on some things that were brought into the United States, and now it's a problem for our ecosystem or for that particular place. Hang in there. We're back in a moment.
Join our team of totally awesome volunteers. When you volunteer into the Awesome Radio Network family, you are valued and appreciated. Are you retired? Do you need something rewarding to do? Do you need community hours? We can be reached at 252-756-3137. We have several volunteer opportunities readily available for you to choose from. Awesome Radio Network is seeking self-motivated and positive volunteers who may be interested in learning how we do radio and community events. Visit our website to learn more, awesomeradionetwork.org. or reach us at 252-756-3137. Disclaimer: we vet our volunteers and reserve all rights to mutually accept or refuse.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. We have reached our final 20 minutes, so I'm going to go right into it so we can get this done. Once again, if you have a question or comment and would like to call in, do so by calling 252-756-2008. I just want to mention something briefly because Apostle just mentioned this a few minutes ago. I'm looking at the document on page 2. Before you go, familiarize yourself with local laws and customs. Definitely familiarize yourself with the local laws and customs, because the local laws will dictate what you need to obey to while you're in that, while you're on that land or on that soil. Customs will verify that you have items that you can legally keep and not be charged for anything. Apostle.
Definitely. And I'm going to say, don't bring any animals back. You see something cute running around, leave it in that country. I know one of the things that we down in the southern states, there's a thing called nutrium that came off of one of the boats, is not native to the United States, and now it's down there eating up all the land and eating up the vegetation.
Really? What is it called?
Nutrium. It's like, and back years ago they called it the Nutri-Rat, because it was like big like a rat. It looks kind of like a capybara, but they can be as big as dogs.
Oh, really?
And so now down in those southern states, they are allowing you to trap them, kill them, because it is such a nuisance down in those states. And of course, the python and the anaconda down in Florida. Those are not native snakes. Those are snakes that people have released as pets or pets that got away, and now they're down there breeding, and they're allowing you to kill those particular snakes. Iguanas. Those things are not native here to the United States like that.
That's absolutely correct.
And those, but they do in the cold, they get, I remember even earlier this year in the winter, they were allowing you to kill them, to get them. They were freezing and falling out of the trees, because when the temperature dropped there in Florida, in that state, they couldn't move. So many of them were falling out of the trees, they were allowing you to gather them, and they were disposing of them.
Good.
Because they were sick of that. They're sick of, this is something that someone else released. It's a tropical warm area, and now they're taking over. Now it's so many of them until they're getting rid of it. They also do the same thing with, I think it's the alligator in certain states, or down in some of those states, because those alligators are, their numbers rise and they breed out of control. They're getting in people's pools. They're showing up at people's houses. They're eating little animals like the cats and dogs. So they allow a season where you can kill the alligator. So that's how some of them are getting rid, some of the states are getting rid of some of the things that are in their area that have been brought in that are not native. So we can look at it, Dr. Glenn, definitely. I think it would be a great show.
Yeah, we'll take that. Also, coming up, I think I'm going to do a topic on consuming too much water, because our body need water, but you can actually poison yourself from drinking too much water. When I worked at Jersey Shore University Medical Center in New Jersey, we got a report of a lady that passed because she drank so much water as a jogger. She diluted her body, all the things that was in the body to keep you alive, and she succumbed to drinking too much water.
Definitely, it can be an issue, and especially with kids. I remember years ago doing a particular, or getting some information about kids, because they're another one that they could be running in, playing outside, it gets hot, they keep running backwards and forward into that house, getting that water, and a lot of times we're not regulating it, because it's water, it's okay.
And speaking of kids, another incident when I worked at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. I used to be staged, I was in security. So I'll be at the command center with the monitors and all that stuff. And this kid would always leave the pediatrics ward and come sit at the monitor station to talk to me. Well, they were looking for him one afternoon. Sure enough, the child they were looking for, the kid they were looking for, was with me. I found out he was allergic to water. That's why he was in the hospital. But what they found out, it wasn't the actual water. It was a chemical makeup of the water, like the tap water. He was allergic to the chlorine and the other things that's in the tap water.
Wow. And probably the amount. Who Who's allergic to water? This is the first time I ever heard such a thing.
There's a lot of people
Dr. Glenn.
that's why I want to mention it.
Because our body is made up of water. How could you be allergic to what you're made up of?
There's a medical term for that.
Man, that don't sound good.
There's a medical term for that. I have it at home on my computer. That's why I want to do that, because you would think nobody's allergic to water, but yes, there are people allergic to water.
You're born in water. How could you be allergic to something? There's water in the sac around you. It took water for you to be conceived. You were conceived in water. How can you be allergic to water?
But you can. Sometimes it's the chemical makeup of certain water. Sometimes it's just water in general.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't mean to get off the topic. We're going to continue with the travel because we have 10 minutes remaining. So let's get back to the travel. I'm sorry about that.
Yes, Dr. Glenn, but we're going to come back to that one because allergic to, and then someone in our comments said, allergic to water, what does he drink? What do you drink if you're not? And then whatever you're drinking was made up of water in some way. But maybe you're talking about the chemicals like the fluoride or whatever else they're putting in the water.
Well, with this one young man, it was the chemical makeup of the water.
Okay.
But in some instances, it was just natural water. There's a medical term for that. When we do the topic, I'll be sure to discuss that and have that caller email me, that person that text, email me so I can send her the documents.
Okay, and thank you, Michael. We see you right there in our comments.
Michael, my email address is Glenn, G-L-E, and then Johnson Show at Gmail. Email me. I will send you these particular documents on being allergic to water.
Hey, Michael, and to our listening audience, I be questioning. I be looking at Dr. Glenn like, what are you talking about? Who's allergic? You're born in water. I can't, we'll look at it and see. Dr. Glenn has the documents. And look, the person said, when you cook anything, you have to add water. Well, how you getting past getting water? And especially your body, 70-something% of it is water. How do you do? I don't know. We're going to look at it.
Let me mention this before we move on. Now, a lot of people like the Polish spring water. So when I was a tractor trailer driver, I used to go to make runs in Maine to pick up water. So Poland spring water is not made in Poland. It's made in Maine. That's where it originates. That's where it comes from.
Look, that person says they know you way back, Dr. Glenn, that you used to work together.
Oh, that's Michael Armstrong. I see the comment. We did used to work together. He knows I'm from Neptune, where he's from. Yeah. Okay. Michael, make sure you email me so I can give you these documents.
Look, and somebody said...
I see Marjorie Crandall. She's from my church.
Yeah, Crandall. Pastor Crandall. She said everything has H2O in it. You're right, Pastor. Pastor Crandall. Everything.
I know this Michael Armstrong. Yeah, I did sell him a motorcycle one time. But Michael, you gotta definitely email me, and I'm gonna give you my number. Do you have a pen and paper? Write my phone number down, or let me put it in the comment section. I want you to call me. I got something to explain to you.
Hey. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. We have one more section where we're coming back here. We have to finish this last section here. We're down to a minute, and we want you to hang in there and listen. I'm telling you, those that are listening today, I'm going to stay on this water thing. We're going to come back with this subject one day and see about this being allergic to water and see what it's called. And let's look at that, because I'm still, just like everyone else, I'm sitting here going, wow. Dr. Glenn, he has me looking and asking a bunch of questions and a few more questions. So we're definitely going to look at that and see what it is. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on this break. We want you to know that you're listening right here to Glenn Johnson, Motivations with Glenn, and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And you're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio, 1570 AM and 107.5 FM. We want you to hang in there. We have a few more travel tips we want to give you. We will be right back in a moment. Right back.
Coming to Greenville, God Has Something to Say Revival from Monday, August 3rd through Friday, August 7th, 7:30 each night. Hosted by Apostle Mary Mahone, along with Truth and Life Deliverance Ministry, located at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. Guest speaker, Prophet Benny Dixon, along with Pillars of Faith Prophetic Ministries of Kinston. So mark your calendars for Monday, August 3rd to Friday, August 7th, 7:30 p.m. nightly at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. God Has Something to Say Revival.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome, awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome, awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Here on Awesome Radio, the Awesome Radio Network, WECU, 1570 AM, 107.5 FM. I just want to say there's nothing greater than our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and Father God. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey. Also,
Also, I put my phone number in the chat box for you, Michael.
also, I want to say to you, if you're going on vacation, look at how you have to carry your medicine.
Yeah, that was
How you have to carry your medicine. Sometimes, they don't want you to put it in your suitcase. They want you to hand carry it.
Yeah, page 2 on that FBI document, it does mention about take any necessary medication. You said
Yes.
it on page 2.
Hand carry your medicine instead of putting it in your suitcase. And also be aware that if you're going certain places, they're going to do drug sniffing dogs. The dogs are going to sniff you, sniff your luggage, and see if you have any drugs on you. Now, what was funny, Dr. Glenn, is that they sniffed us going out. But after we got over to Mexico, somebody was smoking marijuana. So they must have bought it in.
They had to.
I smelled the marijuana. Somebody got in with it. There was no drug sniffing dogs coming back aboard after, coming off of Mexico.
Well, can I mention this right quick?
Yes.
This is not an endorsement for this television program, but I want to let our listening audience know to find out what you can do and cannot do. There's a show called To Catch a Smuggler. You can go to YouTube and watch that. It has a lot of valuable information.
Well, sometimes it teaches you how to smuggle because they're showing you how they would catch you. So now you need to go a different way so you don't get caught with it.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. To show you how they got caught so you can't do it or won't do it.
Well, I'm here to say that they need to catch people because I did smell some things and they were able to get it back on that boat after we came from Mexico. Now, the dog sniffed everybody going. And then, after we were on, nobody sniffed when everybody was coming back in from the foreign country. So, that's the place the dog needs to be as well. If people are going to smuggle drugs, then what makes you think they're going to get a bag and do the hookup there,
But people might have a way to conceal it so the dog can't sniff it. They might have packed it with something, throw it so it'll throw off the scent of the dog sniffing it.
That's true, but that looked like a pretty smart dog, Dr. Glenn. I saw him. He didn't look like somebody you could get over on. But anyhow, people know all kinds of tricks to try to conceal when they're trying to do something that they shouldn't. So I just want to say with your medicines, watch that. And this is overseas travel number. The U.S. Department of Transportation has a travel advisory or airport safety hotline. It's 1-800-221-0673. And so this is where you could call about travel, seeing if there's any issues.
And you might want to mention that again so some of our listeners might be interested in that. Did it give them time to get a pen and paper so you can write it down?
Okay, I want to give you the U.S. Department of Transportation has a travel advisory and airport safety hotline. It's 1-800-221-0673 that advises international travelers of potentially dangerous airports and countries.
And to our listening audience, should you desire any of the documents that we're speaking of today, please don't hesitate to email me at Glenn, Glenn, Johnson, Shell at gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to forward them to you.
So also know about the customs of where you're going. Not just the travel getting there, but know about the customs. There's a lady
right.
in another country, she's arrested because she raised her voice in one of these foreign countries. She's arrested and doing time. Some places, women are not allowed to yell. And because you can yell and act up here in the U.S. doesn't mean that you could go other places and it's okay for you to yell and act up.
Yeah, the customs are very, very strict in
And
some
some of
places.
them, they want you to cover your hair and different things. They don't want to see a woman out. There's certain things, even in certain countries, if the car is dirty, you can get a ticket for driving in a dirty car.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
So you need to know the customs and laws of where you're going before you get there. It sounds exotic to go to these places. I'd be sad to see you locked up for something that you would ordinarily do here in the U.S.
I remember we was doing a show on identification on cars and stuff, and we mentioned the thing about when they used to have the Department of Defense sticker on cars that they don't utilize no more. They got rid of that for a reason. You remember?
Wow. I don't remember, Dr. Glenn. I have to go back to my memory bank with that. I want to say be safe in the airport, too. Just because you're in the airport doesn't mean you're safe. A couple of times in the past, I've had people try to pick up my purse right there in the airport. And I was sitting right there near it or had my headphones and it was next to me and they tried to get my purse. There are people that target airports to go in there just trying. They know people are traveling. So they're trying to get a hold of your debit card or whatever else. Also be leery of the places you just left. We're gone home and I've gotten some charges on my card from the particular cruise line.
Yeah, I just want everybody to remain safe regardless of where they go. You might be traveling here to the United States. Now, I have some friends that's police officers in Philadelphia. So a couple of months ago, one of my friends was a lieutenant with the Philadelphia Police. We were talking on the phone while I was on my way to the station. He said he had to call me back because he had to get to the airport unit because they had a situation. When I finally left the station, I called him back. What occurred was there was a man running around the airport naked with a knife trying to stab people. The reason why he had to respond to the airport, because he was a lieutenant, he's a supervisor, is because the officers at the airport unit, they had to lay him down, which meant they had to shoot and kill that particular subject.
Lord have mercy. Well, and you don't want any trouble like that. You see anything strange, get yourself a good holler, start screaming and hollering. There's nothing wrong with screaming for help. Get yourself a good holler because you don't want people or something to be going on and nobody knows. You're going to hear me because I'm a holler.
And I just want to mention the reason why the officers had to lay him down is because the airport unit officers, he tried to attack them with the knife.
Well, watch people. You can tell when people are acting strange or they're trying to get too close to you. I don't want people that close to me. If you keep, and I'm gonna slow down and allow you to go past me, I'm gonna speed up or I'm gonna zig or zag some kind of way to make sure, and you're still right behind me, I'm stopping and turning around and looking. What are you doing?
Yeah, because you might be questioned, if he was thinking was happening, you might be questioned as to, well, what did you do to minimize the situation?
No, I'm gonna look at you. You're not getting me from behind.
That's
We're
right.
looking at each other.
Did you minimize the situation or did you aggravate the situation?
Well, and I need the opportunity to be ready to fight if something going on. Nobody wants to be attacked from the back. You need to be able to look at the attacker and say, okay, let's get prepared. I've seen a few things that I might smarten up on and start carrying with me because of the fact that you just never know out here. But we are glad that you tuned in on today on this show. Thanks for our callers. Those that are on the line that were chatting on the chat line with us on here, even to Pastor Crandall and Michael Armstrong. Thank you for chiming in. We enjoyed hearing your comments and seeing your comments on there.
And I hope Mr. Armstrong got the opportunity to take down my number because I'm about to leave the station in about 5 minutes, and I would love for you to call me because I need to explain something to you, sir.
Hey, we want you to come back here next week. We're going to have another hot topic. And at some time, we're trying to get some officials and some of our newly sworn in officials on this show. So we want you to come on so you can be out. You need to be informed and get right here on the Glenn Johnson Show. We hope to see you next week. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, because we have the newly appointed police chief from Greenville. Hopefully we can get her on. Plus, I'm waiting for Officer Walker Shelton, to call me from the North Carolina Wildlife. He's an officer there. We're going to get into the recent showings of bear in the area.
Definitely. We're going to talk about these bears that are being hit. Hey, we will see you next week. God bless.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome, awesome, awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome, awesome, awesome.